Hello, welcome back to another Models by me. This time we will be looking at Minicraft Model Kits' 1/48 scale Grumman XF5F-1, also known as the Skyrocket. So we will do this in the usual manner of starting with the outside of the box, then the contents, then the instructions, then the sprues, and then my final thoughts at the end. So a little bit of history on the XF5F. In 1935, the US Navy had just acquired two new fighters, the F2F and the F3F. Whilst new, they are still fundamentally biplanes, whereas many nations at this time were swapping over to monoplanes, which led to the US Navy to request newer fighters in the form of the Brewster Buffalo and the Grumman Wildcat. In the meantime, the US Army Air Corps introduced their new high-level long-range bomber, the B-17. Whilst impressive, the US Navy got quite concerned. If the Army Air Corps have got this new bomber, what about the US's proposed enemies? Will they have something just as big and heavily armed? And at the time, radar was not equipped onto ships, so by the time the enemy bombers were spotted, it would be too late for the US Navy fighters to take off, get to the altitude of the enemy bombers, then try and shoot them down. If this did happen, the enemy bombers would have already dropped their load and returning back to the airfield. If an interception was to happen, the US Navy fighters were only equipped with two machine guns, normally both 30 caliber machine guns, so woefully under-equipped to intercept and shoot down the bombers. Hence the Navy's new request for a new fighter, with an armament capable of shooting down the bombers and able to climb quickly to get to the high altitude in a short space of time before the bombers could drop their load. Grumman faced an issue though. All the engines available just did not produce enough power to achieve this. So if one engine won't do, what about two? Armament was also supposed to be two 30 caliber machine guns, probably for their high rate of fire while they were kept, and two 20mm cannons. It's probably for the high explosive rounds. Grumman had heard about the 23mm Madsen cannons, but this time World War II had already started, and with Denmark in German hands, the Madsens were out of reach. As a result, Grumman replaced the cannons with two 50 caliber machine guns instead. He also increased the length of the nose to make it look more like a traditional airplane. There is a good video out there on YouTube regarding the XF5F, and it is really worth watching because it goes through the history of this thing and basically what happened to it. So I would highly recommend going and watching that. But for now, let's continue on with this unboxing video. Let's start with the outside of the box. So we got a nice lovely artwork of the prototype of the Skyrocket flying overhead. You can clearly see the design where they put the wing in front of the nose of the aircraft. Bit of an odd design choice, but that's what they went with until it was mentioned in the history. Its nose was actually extended forwards. Not much else on the front. It does say 148 in the bottom corner, but that's about it. So let's have a look down the side. So we got some actual photos of the model after it's built in its silver and yellow designs there. There we go. Down this side we've got it. There you go, Grumman XF5F-1 Skyrocket in 48 scale. the front box art again. Skill level 2. Okie dokie, this is going to be interesting. Down this side we have the front box art again. Copyright 1998. Very interesting. Not suitable for children under 36 months old. Barcode if you want to scan it. Contains one model kit with illustrated assembly instructions. Paint and glue are not included. Still not suitable for 36 months old. It's made in China. And down this side, oh, they've done this. Okay, that's literally the same. The back of the box. It's a cardboard box. That's it for the outside. Contents. So I'm trying to do this one-handed. Can you let me do this? Come on. There we go. So we have instructions. We've got all the sprues individually bagged up. So, sprue 1, sprue 2 with the clear plastic in here as well. There it is. And the last thing in here is the decals. Not many decals because it was a prototype aircraft and generally quite nice. Yeah, quite nice decals there. That's it for the contents. And the camera deciding if it's going to go in or out of focus. Instructions. So earlier it was basically an extended piece of A3 paper that's been cut down. Got a picture of the actual XF5 flying. It does become a bit of a tongue twister to say all that. And the history of the aircraft, which, there you go, if you pause that, you want to read it, you can. On the inside here, we have a blank bit of paper. On the final assembly, yep, they've done this for some reason. But so I'll skip the top half. Let's have a look here. So we've got glue, do not glue, cut away, optional, and repeat operation. Apparently repeat operation 3 times on that one. And then we have a parts layout diagram, what I call a sprue map. So yeah, basically all the pieces, all numbered up as well if you need to look for specific parts. So if you can't find number 25 there, you can look down here and try and spot it. Put it in the comments if you can find it. I can't see it from here. Found 35. Anyway, on to the next part of the instructions. Hold on. There we go. So to start with assembly, we have the 2 wings that go together, plus the little lights on the outside, the wing markers. After you assemble the wings, you then paint the interior. So put the foot pedals onto the instrument panel and then straight into the cockpit with the control column and the seat. Nicely tells you the seat, stick and rudder pedals are either in interior green or silver, whereas the instrument panel is in black grey. Step 3. So we got 2 30 cals and 2 50 calibers. You just screw that all into the front. Guns are gunmetal. Again, it tells you nicely. It doesn't say this must be X23, this is Humbo 30, or no, it just says if it's guns, you pick your own gunmetal. The feed chutes and mounts, interior green or aluminium again. And that'd be for all the bits here as well. There's a note here saying that the early version were not equipped. So if you want to do the early version, do not install the nose guns. Engines. So we have a choice of spinny propeller. Yay. So could put the exhaust ring onto the back of the exhaust, or the exhaust manifold stuff. Cylinders, and then all the rods at the front. Glue that all together, and I suppose there's no harm in gluing the front part of the nacelle on to the front there either. Because the next step, if you want spinny propeller, this little peg here, do not glue into the front here, but glue it into the back of the propeller. If, like me, you do not care about spinny propeller, glue that into that, into that. Yeah, tells you all the paint you need down there. At the top here, time to put the two halves of the fuselage together onto the wings as well, painting the interior, and put the nose cone on, which I think only gives you the one option with the machine gun holes already drilled out, so Next, the vertical and horizontal stabilizers. Glue those all together, top to bottom, onto the fuselage. Early style and late style. And it shows you nicely that they had counterweights at the front here. If it was the late style, the early style was just, well, straight. Maybe a bit of detail there. Landing gear. So this option, you can only have landing gear down by the looks of things. And so you basically put the two halves of the wheels together, glue the cover on, glue all this lot together and into the nacelles. Even the suspension arms in two pieces here, wow. Once you glue all that lot together, the upper part of the nacelle, glue it on top. There's a note here, upper nacelle parts 20 have a small circular identification which should face the inboard, or should face inboard, i.e. towards the cockpit. And I stand corrected. By looks of things, you can have the landing gear up. If you do so, ignore this stage. You will need to put the wheels into the covers there, or the doors, and then glue that there, and then that one just goes onto there. You also glue the engines in at this stage. Wing fillets and canopy. So what they're on about with the fillets is, I think it, yeah, here it is. Is basically these bits down the side here. So it doesn't basically go wing fuselage. It's aerodynamically curved. So, well, also the aerodynamics. There is a note saying the early unarmed version was not fitted with the wing fillets. So if you're doing that version, ignore that stage. And just glue those straight over the front there. That's the canopy, gun sight, and headrest. That's not the headrest, because that's the headrest, because that's got the cushion on it. Aerial at the back? Not sure. Final assembly, which is, I would say, completely final, because you will knock these off while painting it. P-tail tube. I believe those are footrest to try and get up onto the plane, and the arrestor hook. It's a naval aircraft. It was designed to be flown from aircraft carriers, so arrestor hook when it comes back landing. And that's it. We've gone full circle on ourselves. The exception of the back here. So we got silver, yellow, and black. Black being the front of the propellers. Well, the propeller comes in, which is normally silver. Footways there. Top of the wings are yellow, and everything else is silver. Except for about 1.1 of an inch from the wing edge. You paint yellow on the underside. And all the decals on the propeller. That's it for the instructions. Sprue time! So, as earlier, there's 3 sprues, so let's start with the biggest one, which is the wings. So, let's start with the lower wing. I'll immediately be trying to focus the camera. There we go, okay. So, as I would expect from 148, the detail should be really good. So we've got all the panel lines. Fabric covered wings don't look too bad. The very large flaps, again not too bad. Interior nacelle detail, not good. Oh, the sprues are numbered as well. Okay. Not too bad there. Tail surfaces are not too bad. It's quite clearly defined between the control surface and, well, the fabric control surfaces as well as the metal parts. Panel lines are a bit thin, to be honest, but be about right, I would have thought. It's one of the wheel caps or wheel covers. A bit plain. Upper wing. Pretty much the same. The panel lines are nice, but the whole thing's quite smooth. That's the front there with the machine guns, and there's the cockpit section. Not too bad. The engine nacelles. Bit basic, but still quite nice. Probably have to cut out the gaps and holes there. Landing bay cut doors. These ones we've got to cut in half. Is there anything on the inside? Yep, there is. That makes it nice to cut later. And these are the doors for the front there where the access the machine guns. Quite nice that extra detail is there. So, yeah, okie dokie. Interior of the engines? Non-existent. Okay, bit of a mixed match there. Let's have a look at the fuselage. Outside the fuselage is kind of the same again. You got the panel lines, but that's it. Top of the engine nacelle. Okay. Front of it. The propellers look like propellers. Quite nice. instrument panel. So you're gonna have to see it from the sideways. Yeah, okay. And there's no decal to go on it. Nope. That 1/72nd scale Comet has spoilt me. At least you've got the levers there, you can clearly see that go up and down. Okay. A few extra couple little bits there. Horizontal stabilizer is, yeah, overall not too bad. Not too bad again. Is that the arrestor hook? Aha! Captain Hook. We meet at last. Quite nice. I would expect more of a hook there, but yeah, it just seems like you just go into there, and I'm pretty certain there's normally a cut or groove in there for it to like more latch into. Could be wrong, but somebody will be able to tell me. Inside the nose with 4 holes. That's the outside of it. Now the machine guns. Your 250 caliber machine guns at the bottom and 230 calibers at the top. And okay, there's a chance these are going to be sealed away. You aren't going to see them. I have seen nicer 1/72nd scale ones, unfortunately. Nice big holes there, so okay, so don't have the door open from this way, have it open from this way, because otherwise you've got that nice big well, that's going to be an ejection pin hole right there front and centre. If you do want both sides open up, get some filler, fill in these ejection pin holes, and then file it flat. But equally, the detail is a bit lacking on these, because the 50 calibers normally have like a bracket on either side, at the top and the bottom, basically to help hold the whole thing together. Those are smooth and slab-sided, so if you do keep with these, well, if you don't want to keep with these, get them aftermarket parts. They're not too bad of representation. One half of the wheels that are, well, police will pull you over for those wheels. Same with those. The tail wheel is a bit basic. Probably what I would expect on a 1/72nd, to be honest. The seat, again, a bit basic. It's basically they just took a 1/72nd scale kit and they enlarged it. Engines, all the exhaust rings and stuff, not bad, not bad. The cylinders are okay, cylinders are not too bad, but the definitely going to need to do some dry brushing and washing to get the detail out of these. Landing gear, quite nice. Now, somebody will probably best put it in, well, somebody put it in the comments. Should that be just empty holes there, or should that be filled in? Because part of me's thinking they're supposed to be lighting holes, so be completely, well, they're not filled in. But part of me's thinking this is landing gear, you need strength, so they would be filled in. Somebody can put in the comments what is actually the correct one for that one. Gun sight, some of the other parts there. the other half of the landing gear. Interior of the cockpit. So this is the starboard side. Up here, where it's out of focus. There's nothing there. Port side. You got a throttle and a couple of flat boxes. Plus, look at all the ejection pin marks. Okie dokie. Not too bad. So let's get the clear plastic. So the main part of the canopy. Oh, I can see it from here. Right, so can we see the detail in here? Okay. The answer is, as long as you're not looking through from the top and you're looking through from the side. The answer is ish. You can see through it ish. The front, which would be that way. That's probably why there's no detail on the interior, or barely any detail on the interior. You won't see it. Okie dokie. Let me bag these all back up again. And then my final thoughts. So, final thoughts. I did spot on the inside of the fuselage, it's saying copyrighted 1996, which means this kit is about 27 years old. So it's okay. We've seen older, but we have seen some from around this time. I would have to say I have seen some from this era that does have more detail. What this appears to be, in my view, is an upscaled 1/72nd scale kit. Personally, for 48 scale, I'd definitely like to see rivets. I'd definitely like to see some dials, or at least decals, for the instrument panel. Seat belts, a bit more detail for the interior and the cockpit. Just that little bit extra. What seems we got for this kit is what I would expect to see for a 72nd scale kit. So, yeah, bit of an oddity. Especially for quite an odd plane like this. It's a prototype, it never went into production. But let's do what I think the skill level for this would be. So this said skill level 2, if I remember. Yeah, skill level 2. So, 1 would be easy, beginner's models. Skill level 2 so 1's beginner, 2's easy. I said before that would be at like a Airfix Spitfire, 72nd scale. Skill level 3 is intermediate, which would be like, sticking with Airfix again, the Blenheim. 4 is intermediate, with 5 being, as I say, an expert modeler. To be honest, despite the size of this, which might be either like a little daunting or impressive for a new beginner, part of me really wants to say this is like a 2. This is like, looks really easy to put together. But part of me also wants to say it's a 3. I might actually go with Minicraft here and say skill level 2. The engines might be a little bit interesting to deal with, but that'll be it. The rest of this thing looks like it will go together really, really easily. Just remember when you're gluing the gun sight or the canopy on, use PVA or appropriate clear plastic glue. So yeah, I would say skill level 2. Interior detail. It's nice. You got the dials, you got the throttle. Well, at least I assume that's the throttle. Singular throttle, weirdly. No flap levers. Yeah, the cockpit, once you start digging into it, is missing quite a bit. What's nice as well is the interior, being the nose section here as well, also has the machine guns. Machine guns would probably be nicer, more detailed. I would also assume there'll be like what would be a firewall if it was an engine there. Because basically the machine guns will fire, the bullets will fall out, and then just go straight into the main cockpit section. Possibly because it's a prototype, they didn't worry about that too much. Don't know, seems like a bit of an odd thing to miss out. But the interior detail is there. It's definitely been worse, but there's also been a lot better. Interior detail, I'm going to go with 3. Exterior detail. Again, scale 1 to 5. 1 being there's absolutely nothing, and 5 being nice, crisp detail. Beautiful rivets being along all the panel lines and stuff. I'm going to go with a 3 again on this one. The details are there, the panel lines are there, but there's nothing really extra to go on top. Bit of a shame. Possibly there's just possibly no examples of this thing, or couldn't gain access to real ones of these. So they couldn't get all the detail, like, well, the artist on the front clearly knew where to put all the extra rivet holes and stuff. Don't know, bit of an oddity, but it's there, it's okay. I'll go with 3 on this again, for the exterior. So total score is a 6. Nice and average, right in the middle. Out of 10, I suppose that would be a 5, but then I would have to give lower than average reviews for the interior and exterior detail. Oh well. Anyway, if you like the video, hit that like button. Comment below, have you actually made one of these? Is there any traps or anything to look out for? Or actually, is it a really easy kit just to put together and have it on the shelf? And subscribe for more videos. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.